Welcome to our July Founders Deep Dive. So, for those of you who don't know, deep dives are where Ty and I basically reflect on the prior month's spotlight feature, introduce you to this month's spotlight feature, and dive a little bit more into a centered topic that's all about the journey behind the brand. So, before we jump in, we're just going to clean house now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected because here we talk all things business from highs to lows and everything in between. So, to start off, hi, I'm Starah Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, your go to for statement decor that meets luxury lifestyle design. We feature elevated and often artisan created pieces that make your home feel powerful, personal, and anything but ordinary. On to you, Ty.
Guys, my name is Tysheda. For those who don't know me, I am the founder of Luxury Travels by Dreamy Designer Events, where we create transformational retreats and curate luxury experiences worldwide for founders, leaders, and dreamers who are ready to reconnect, reset, and come back at the highest version of themselves. So, now before we dive in, I just want to take a second to shout out our June spotlight, which she was fabulous. Chef Joanne Thomas. Y'all, let me tell you, her future was everything. I mean, from her story, her passion, how she started her culinary journey, and just what built her to actually create the brand that she now is so passionate about, and that she actually makes sure that she not only just hits home, but she actually takes it internationally and worldwide at the same time. If you missed it, definitely check out the link below. But she pours in love, meaning, passion, and all the food. And she also has made different kind of like seasons and things of that manner that you can also buy. So if you can't have the advantage of having her directly at your house, you can also take away from a lot of her products that she has created. So you can still get that same taste of love and home, but in the comfort of your own living space. So, Star, let me know how your thoughts on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I loved the conversation with her. And I also loved the way that she was able to utilize different portions of her life journey to basically create who she is now, and
Mhm.
all of it is basically intertwined. And who doesn't love good food? So,
Listen. I mean, you can take a bad day and turn it good real quick.
yeah, it doesn't take much for me. Just give me something good that was made with love, and we're good to go from there.
That part.
Mhm. And so for this month, we're actually doing something very different. So we're doing a double feature. And if you haven't already caught up, the first spotlighter was actually Roma Argarwal of the White Lotus knife. She really honed in on sustainability packaging for marketing materials for both product and service-based businesses. So if you didn't catch her yet, we're going to have her information in the description below. Make sure you to catch up. And also coming up, we're going to have Sharon Ringer of the Possible Woman magazine, which is a business focused on elevating and showcasing women at the peak of their businesses. Her spotlight is going to be on Sunday, July 27 at 4 p.m. EST. And if this was a mouthful, this is why you need to set up the notifications so that we don't have to, give you the information now. You can actually get it sent to you right before the show airs. So, yes.
Yes, and we are so excited for our double feature this month. These are two remarkable females who are really doing some really groundbreaking things just in the industry of sustainability, women empowerment, and so much more. So we're so excited on all aspects. So again, for those of you who are new with us in Authentic Ambitions family, this space is more than just a spotlight. It's for honest conversations, lessons learned, and what we wish someone would have told us on the other side before we got started. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This month's Founders Deep Dive is all about if we knew then what we know now. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years, there's always something we look back and say, man, I wish I would have known that before. Or even if I was starting today, I would definitely do things a little bit differently. So, we're pulling back the curtains on all the things we wish somebody would have told us, the lessons that hit a little bit different, and some of the things that the entrepreneur journey in today's world may be a little bit different, but still can give you the same shift if you would have done it before. So, in that case, we're going to dive right on in. So, Star, let me know what's the one thing. I know I'm pretty sure there's probably many, but what is one thing that you really, really wish you would have known before what you know now?
So yes, there are like pretty much many things. I created a little list, which we're also going to like basically like post up on our website so that people can, get access to. But I would say the first thing that I would want to talk about is having a mentor or getting one early in the process, and specifically one that actually knows the business that you're looking to do. For example, I remember the first iteration of when I was doing health hires, like, which is a service-based business. I was new to the whole idea of mentorship, right? So I got a mentor, but there was a disconnect because that mentor specialized in brick and mortar businesses, and I'm over here a service SaaS business, and we're like trying to make work. So he's like, "Yeah, you just do X, Y, and Z," and I'm just like, "No, like
That
that's
does
not
not
how it
pertain
works."
to me.
Yeah. And so that's when, because like initially I went into it thinking like, oh, every mentor just knows things and all of that. But it's like, no, you have to really know what you're seeking, and also have that person have successfully assisted or created a business within the same kind of like general area that you're trying to work in. So like knowing if you're looking for someone that can assist you with accounting, which that's going to come up in my list also, or like knowing someone who can help you really hone in on a business plan that can get you from point A to point B, whether you're looking to just really understand the fullness of your business or even for funding purposes. So that would be one of the things that I'll start off with. We can go back and forth. What do you think?
So yes, so well, I will definitely actually piggyback off of yours for a mentor. I feel like that's very important. I also feel like a lot of people feel like if they have if they have a mentor or they have someone that's assisting them, that it kind of makes it feel like they're not doing enough or they don't know what they're doing because they have someone. And I feel like you always want a mentor. You always want a mentor that's where you want to be, or a
Mhm.
mentor that has been walking in your store in your shoes at some point of their life, because they can understand what you're saying. Thing like you said, if you have someone who is specialized in brick and mortar and your online retail store, or you do virtual consultation things of that manner, it's a completely different world between in person in a store and doing it a virtual inventory.
Mhm.
And it is also about picking the right mentor, because like kind of in general, there's so many different people out there that that can coach, can consult, things of that manner. But you want to make sure it's not even just, you want to look at the reviews for them, but you
Yeah.
also want to see what their message is, because a lot of times people will kind of give you the illusion that they have what you need and that they can do it, even if their message seems like, you're like, well, it doesn't seem like it aligns too much, and then you talk to them and they're like, oh
Mhm.
no, I could definitely do that. Listen to your gut feeling, because a lot of times you get into it, you pay the money, and then you're like, this person can't help me for, or like they'll try to like shift what their specialties is to help you,
Mhm.
but it doesn't really help you. It may give you small different things you didn't know before, but it doesn't advance you to where you're looking for. So I always tell people, make sure you do your research, do your due diligence. And it's the same thing, like, and I wish that a lot of more people, I know everyone has like their business, but I wish a lot more people were honest, because like I personally, like, I have told people like, hey, listen, I may not be able to do this, but here are some possible, resources that you may be able to go to and maybe they can help you. I'm fine with doing that, because I don't want to lead people down the wrong path. We've talked to a ton of people, and I'll give you the honest feedback behind it, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I could totally do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
knowing that I'm like, and just because I'm trying to get money, it's not about that, because the key is if I want to see the results, or we want to see progress, we want to make sure that we can help you do that, versus a lot of people, they're like, oh, I can just tweak my message so that I could still help you, but you're like, none of your messaging is even in the realm of the industry that I'm working in. And it's so important to make sure that someone who's honest, sincere, and you can kind of tell that honestly. And if you're not sure, before you walk into it, you may want to get a second opinion. So whether that's talking to somebody support, that's whether even talking to, they have a lot of other different, people you can do like virtual consultations with, see where people's heads are, things of that manner. Because you definitely, if you want to like invest your money, because you're investing your money, which is fine because you want to invest for your future. You want to just make sure you're investing in the right person that could help you get there. And then the other thing I will just say real quick is it's also okay for, I always tell people, and you're going to actually hear it in our upcoming feature that we have with Sharon, but it's also very much okay to help people at the same time. So if you
Right.
see someone who is thinking about it or doing something similar to what you did and things of that manner, like I feel like a lot of people too, a lot of people want to hold the information because they're like, oh, well, I don't want someone else to take my business, or I don't want someone else to take my clients. The world's very big out there, and I'm gonna be honest with you, helping someone else, it's almost like you're paying it forward, because you always want someone to help you because you're trying to advance. It's okay to help. Like I will be the first one. I'm like, ooh, what are you trying to do? And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh god, let me tell you, let me see how I can help you based off of what I know, because I don't want someone to have to go through 3 years of something that I found out that I wish I knew on day one. And I'm like, oh, listen, hey, don't even worry about that. Here, you use these resources because it will save you so much time and things of that manner. And you're almost kind of paying it forward, but I feel like those are like so important in all aspects of that.
And also, I wanted to add a few things before you go into your point that go with what you were saying. So, one, yes, like helping other people, it's really like, especially when you have your own business, it shouldn't be something that is scary, especially because the only thing that really ever matters is execution. Because everybody has a great idea. Everybody could tell you that they
That part.
created Apple before Apple was, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, okay, but like who actually executed this, you know? And
Yeah.
also, helping other people too is a great way to build up your expertise profile too, because now you can also extract like reviews from this person, you know, and just be like, okay, like know where to, like, for example, if like someone comes to you with other
Yeah.
questions, you know exactly where to direct them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a one. The other thing too is, yes, 100% agree with you when it comes to making sure that you look up who you're actually going to work with.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
because, yeah, because like anyone who says that they specialize in everything specializes in nothing. Like, you know what I mean? And that's
Bingo.
even scarier because it's kind of like, no, like if you're going to help me with this particular and specific kind of business, and this is the one that I know that I need, because like I
Mm-hmm.
told you, like I started out with just being like mentor and then being like, ooh, hone in on mentor. But it's one of those things where once you're able to find someone who actually specializes in it, you're going to see like the return of value like come in a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly on that too, especially for those who don't necessarily want to spend money on like mentorship, that's completely fine. You can actually find a lot of different avenues. My favorite is Score, which from there you'll be able to like see like different like as Ty was saying before, reviews of like the work that the person did, what they specialize in, and also a lot of the times, or at least like in my experience, and especially now with Mitsu's too, like they'll connect you to a lead mentor who will also then be like, okay, like what is it that you need? Like you could check in on them. Like it doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't even have to be every week. Whenever you need them, like you could just say, listen, like X, Y, and Z happen. What's going on? Like I need help. And like they'd be
Yes.
able to be like, okay, I can direct you to these people. So you have that. You can also go back to your school to seek for mentorship. You can even like talk to friends. Sometimes even the companies that you work for have mentors. That one is a little, but you know, like is there. Like, but yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, that definitely is good. And I would probably say for me, because I do have another one, but it's one that I hear a lot from a lot of my clients, but I'll do that after. So I think for me, one thing that I probably wish I would have known in the beginning that I 100% know now is don't try to do it all on your own. That's I want to say that is like the biggest thing. Like it was where like the definition of I'm wearing 20 hats because I have to wear it because I'm the only one who can do it led me down a rabbit hole of being drained, being tired. And on top of that, also even though I'm good at what I do, I don't know everything, meaning I don't know every in between the marketing, between the accounting, between the promoting, between the CRM. Like there's so many different aspects of it where me trying to build something that's already created is pointless because it's already done. Why am I trying to build something that someone already perfected that I can just use?
Mhm.
So And that right there, if I would have known that back then, whew, child, it would be a whole different ball game. But I know it now. But definitely the ideal of don't try to do it all on your own is like game changer, because it's like one of those things where it's like it's something, and it doesn't have to be big either. It has to be just something where you make your list of what has to be done and do it where it fits in. Don't try to build an entire platform in 24 hours, because you're going to need time. You want to start small, whether it's social media, building that up, then maybe wanting to invest in doing something for email marketing so that you'll have to get people onto your email list. Like, start small. I think that's when people want to do it all at the same time. They want to build a website, they want to have the social media, they want to have the email list, and before they realize it, they're burnt out, and they're just at the very beginning. Like, they don't even have names on it yet, and then they're already investing all this money. Start small so you can build it up at the time, but also so that you're not draining yourself all within that same amount of time frame that you're trying to do everything.
100% agree. Well, I feel like we're gonna just agree on a lot of this. So if you hear
Like,
this 100 times, well,
if
it is
you
what it
hear it,
is.
it's because we 100% agree with it 100,000
Right.
times.
Like, imagine we're like, I
And
30% agree.
yeah, we're like, I'm like, okay, 25%, X,
Yeah,
Y.
but it is true. And I feel like one of the reasons why we all do this and fall into this is because of that notion of just like, we have to get it all done and we have to get it all done perfectly and it has to be right and all of, and
Mm-hmm.
so it becomes so overpowering. And really what it ends up doing is you're not doing anything correctly. Just going
Yeah.
back to even what I was saying before, even when it came down to the expertise of the mentors, it still stays as the same message on this one too, where it's like, if you're doing everything, you're really going to be doing nothing in a lot
Yeah.
of ways because
Mm-hmm.
you're not specializing in it.
Yeah. And I
And
think, and I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but also I think too, because of the fact of thinking that I'm the only one that can do it and no one
yes,
can do it like
yes,
me, when there are people who specializes in what you need done, and that's their primary focus. So they can do it better than you because that's all they do and that's
yes.
what it is. So if you want to advance your skills and do what you're good at, let the person who does what they're good at do that, and that takes a whole load off of your plate.
Yeah. And even with that, like it is, I do think that there are sometimes that there is the fear of, oh my God, but if they're better than me, but in a lot of ways, don't you want that? And if
Mm-hmm.
you're really worried more about like the IP and like a lot of like the work within, have an NDA, if anything, and just don't do
Yes.
anything illegal so they don't have to, like there's a workaround so that like everything, because at the end of the day your business should be able to move, like
Yes.
that's the only thing that
Yes.
you needed to do. And it is something that at times I still work on, where it's like that thing of trusting that someone else can do the work even better
Yes.
for you and
Mm-hmm.
can execute best. And I think that that's also where having like a standard operations procedure, like a workbook, or just writing out what the steps would be in your ideal situation comes in, where it's kind of like, for example, with shipping products, like I literally have it written out where it's like, okay, these are the steps to do it
Yes.
so that
Mm-hmm.
when you pass it on, here are the steps to do it, like
Exactly.
that,
All written out. Yes. You
yeah,
can't mess it up.
yeah. So
And
like I think that
it's also good for like when you have, if you have someone like for a team, or you have someone else, because it's one process, meaning
mm,
that you'll see here in this handbook, you'll see literally, if you're trying to do this, this is the process. You It's not like every time when someone does it's going to be different, because they're just doing whatever it is. It's like, it's literally step 1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4, 5. You can't mess it up. You follow the steps, the entire streamline is consistent, and
Mhm.
it's done proficiently at the same
Mhm.
time.
Uniform fashion, we all
Yes.
have the same tone, we all have the same message. And
Mm-hmm.
that goes back into that whole thing of leadership, where it's you want to make sure that everybody is on the same page to the best of your abilities.
Yeah.
I definitely do understand that, like starting out, especially if you're a solo founder, well, if you're a solo founder, you're
Yeah.
literally doing everything.
Yeah.
But, like get your feet wet enough to test and understand what kind of issues you may face. And then, yes, outsource it out to someone else or hire someone in-house, like whichever
Yes.
way could work. I also think that with this, one of the things that I wish I knew would be the importance of like checking the resources that you already use to see if there is any like associations, like associated programs and or services that you can get like for free or discounted price. Like for example, like using GoDaddy as like a web service and seeing that they might give you like other offers for like other websites just to test them out. Or even, for example, Fiverr and them giving you for first time users, as far as I'm concerned, but you know, check. But like where they give you Google webmail hosts like for a very highly discounted price. So using the resources you already have, and that includes also like, you know, connecting with people that you know and asking them for help and just being vulnerable with those that you trust in the beginning, because I know you don't want to be vulnerable with everyone. What do you
Yes.
think?
No, no, definitely. I definitely think that's actually
No,
like
Ty,
a
you
really
agree 20%. No, I'm kidding.
actually it's 22%.
Oh,
Okay, get
yes.
it
Oh, my
correct.
bad. Oh,
22%. I
duh.
agree. No, but I do agree because it's one of those things where there's so many different programs and systems that, especially when you're a solopreneur and you want to be able to make the most out of the funds that you have without overextending it. And there's so many different things, and sometimes people want to go straight to like the big one, and
Mhm.
then they're paying all this money. The problem is when you're in the beginning phase of it, you're building up to it, so you're trying to, get your clients. You may even have some clients, but you don't want to completely drain everything before you even can keep building it up. So looking for those different keys and things of that manner. And it's like the same thing is also, it's okay to ask for help, even with different communities, even
Mhm.
with different support system. Like, oh, do you know X, Y, and Z, things of that manner. Some people aren't going to say anything, and that's just how they are. And then you're going to have people who are going to be like, oh, like us, we'll be like, oh, hold up, listen, like we got this, and this.
Right.
Check these out. And I was like, and then if this one may or may not have something you look for, this is a second option. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, say less. But it's just one of those things where it's so important to try to make the most out of it. Once you're advanced and once you're like in your industry and once you're having the income in, then you can try to use for something that may be a little bit more costly, but may can do multiple things because you're having the income at that time to do that. But don't try to go big in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Start off because you want to make sure whatever can work for you. And you also, the idea is you want it to be a lasting business. So you don't want to be over before you start it because funds drain and funds are still draining and you're not making the same income coming in. So those are very important. And the other thing I was going to say, which I'm be honest, is we hear this from a lot of clients. I hear it all the time from clients. One of the most important things to do in the very beginning of make sure you're organized. And
Yes.
that is like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that is the entire, and there's two aspects of organizing, and this goes from being having a system, so having a calendar in terms of what you are looking to do, whether it's for the day, whether it's for the week. And then you want to have, on the second, you want to have big goals. So you want to have a goal for like, okay, for this year, what are some key parts that you want to do? And they don't have to be like trying to make $20,000. Like, yeah, like especially if you're in the very beginning stages of it, it could be okay. For this year, my goal is I want to have my website. I want to have a social media account. I want to have my newsletter, especially if you're also having a business and you're also working a full-time job at the same time. You want to make sure they're realistic goals. As you advance, then you can start saying, okay, I want to make, 5-10% more than what I made in revenue the year before. But in the beginning, set your goals. And then from there, set quarterly goals. And they're going to change. I'm going to be real honest with you because sometimes in the first half of the year, you may have hit those goals that you set. Guess
Mhm.
what? That's when you look at your business plan and that's when you create, okay, so now we have 6 more months in the year. What am I looking to do for them? And then just break them out. This is what I want to do. And then break about, okay, each quarter, this is what I'm looking in, each month, this is what I want to do. If you set a plan for yourself and you stay organized with it, and I tell people there's so much in terms of put enough on your plate, but don't put too much where
Mhm.
you're overdoing it. And I say that because sometimes when you put too much, that's how you became burnout and you're like drowning. And the only reason why you're drowning is because you're causing yourself to drown because you're putting so much on your plate that you're trying to do at the same time. And sometimes if you do that, it actually turns out failing because it's not as great and it's not as perfection as you can say in a sense depending on how your definition of perfection, but it doesn't come out as great if you're trying to rush it. The same way if you're like, okay, I had, an emergency, I wasn't able to get this done this week, and you're like, oh, my goal was for next week for my website to be done. You don't want to rush that because you want to make sure the website aligns with you, aligns with your brand. And on top of that, you want to make sure that when you launch it, and I tell people the biggest thing is first impressions are everything. For if you launch
Yep.
something that looks like crap, and people see that, that's their first impression. You could have the most amazing product, the most amazing service, but if you put, same thing for social media, if you start a social media account and you have posts that have typos, or you have posts that the pictures are just very looking like, something that like someone in school could do, or anything of that manner, first impressions are everything. Don't rush it. Make sure you see it and you like it, and it's something that you want. Don't just say, oh, I just want to put it out there because I want people to see me. People are going to buy from who they trust. People are going to buy from who they like. And if they don't trust it based off of impressions, especially in this economy today, it's not going to bite, and it's going to be so much harder to recover from a bad impression versus just already coming out with that initial impression when they see it.
Yes, definitely, you know how I feel. Oh, agree.
Is it a 2% or is it like 100%?
Like let's say like 39%. No, with like being organized for sure. And I do understand the overwhelm, especially for like first timer of any kind of business, even if it's starting a new business, is that you want to get everything done. Like you don't know where to start. And I feel like that's why it's important to do a little bit of research of what are the essential things that you need to do and what are just the add-ons, you know? So like you want to like make sure you have definitely making sure as best as you can like a legal system installed, or even for me what I would say would be like organizing your finances from the start. So
Yes.
and that's like not only in the cars that you use for your business, for example, and not only in just that, but like also just making sure that you have receipts for everything and using systems that can help you. So as your favorite, not always organized queen, I tend to use like programs for the finances, especially because like this comes in clutch during tax time. And also certain, like services that you may offer, like as far as like the way that your business works, you may have to report finances every quarter. So, or like every month in Oklahoma, for example. So, like it is very important for you to have like all of the information on hand and also be able to take out as many, which is also another thing that I wanted to add in, even inside of the organization of the finances, which is utilizing write-offs. So making sure that you speak to an accountant or look up information before like you're doing tax time, because there are a lot of things that you need to use for your business that you can actually take off during tax time. And no, we're not telling anybody to go like scam and be like, oh my god, well I use
Yeah.
XY,
No.
but like we're saying just like stay informed
Mhm.
about like the different things that you can actually reduce. And also if you don't know what to do, just go straight to an accountant and slash or use Rocket Lawyer, use their free trial, and go from there. That's all I'll say on
Yeah.
that. But I would say too, another thing is the importance of testing before you commit. So I know that I said before, like, like trying to set up your business as legal as possible because, like, like sometimes you might want to do a name change, things like that. So fine. But like getting your EIN number, for example, and then taking it from there. But testing the product or the service before. So, for example, for me, like some of the products that I've had before, like I've sold it on Mercari or even like well, I didn't, but like I know about other people that did this one, but like Facebook. Like, I'm like, let me be honest here. Or just like selling it in other places, like eBay, the personal spaces to see how like the movement goes. And from there, knowing, okay, this is something like this is my like hit product or hit service that I have. Like in the service side, I remember when I was working with Untapped Founders, and there was this young lady who was telling me about how she was like looking to create a system for her business. It was something in the healthcare field for cancer patients, and she didn't have a system already, and she was looking for funders that can help her with that. But what she did do was she created like an Excel which contained all of the information, basically a CRM right there. Like, okay, this is the person's name, information about that person, here's how I contact them, and then just went about it from there.
Yeah.
And just so that she could hold herself in time before creating stuff. So yeah.
Yes, no, I definitely like, and like I said, and having a system, regardless, like I said, being organized and having a system is key. However, that system is, and normally in the beginning, some of it is creating your own system, just like Excel. I had so many Excel documents. And it's nice too because Excel does have it where they have the tabs at the bottom, so you can almost use like a different Excel one for each month without having to have separate Excel documents too. So there's a ways of workaround to try to do it without you having to go straight to creating a CRM system or things of that manner, especially when you want to be like, I'm trying to build my business without draining my funds, especially in the beginning. But I will say one of my say right now, one of my last I wish I would have known before is especially for, and this is going to go again, it's going to go something to where I hear a lot from clients and a lot of people we've talked to is do market research for
Mm-hmm.
whatever service, whatever anything that you're trying to, or something, especially if you're either a pivot, meaning that you're in a particular industry and you want to change over, or if you're like, oh, I have an idea. Do market research. LinkedIn is very big for that. If you want to schedule like, one-on-one with a lot of the different amazing people that's on the platform and just talk to them. A lot of them starts off with a coffee chat, things of that manner. And then it's talking about like what you are looking to do and what their thoughts on it. You're not selling them nothing. You're not trying to like get them to sign up for something. But it's nice for two things. For one, you're building your network. So you're going to learn what they do, meet other people. But for two is trying to also get a gauge on what other people who don't may not know you, what they think of your ideal. And it can help you for one to see if it's something that's really missing in the current economy, but it also can help you in if you have to change it a little bit. So you may have a great idea and then you realize, oh, I need to hone in and not make it as vague. I not make it as is it vague? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So not making it as vague and
Hmm.
honing in more into a particular specific topic. So it's very good for that. But I tell people that too, because sometimes people spend all this time creating their business, creating an EIN, creating all this stuff, and then they do it and then they realize there's not no one's biting because what their message is, for one, isn't clear, or for two, they're may not be necessarily a need for that particular one, but if they just shifted it a little bit, if they did the market research, they would have definitely been able to get a much better audience and also be able to kind of like catch people because it's something that was missing that they could have provided for them.
Right. And that's also why I was like doing the business as legal as possible because of the fact of, yes, that you wanting to know, like, is there even a need for what I want? Because, like, it might just be a self thing, like,
Yeah,
and
you're like, oh, I
sometimes
want
the, yeah,
it.
and sometimes the best ideas come from the things that you need yourself. But at the same time, it's like you do need customers. Other than
Yes.
that, you're just buying for yourself, and that's just called shopping. Um,
That
so it's like, okay.
a very
Um,
expensive shopping too because
yeah, yeah. So even with what you said, like I do think that it goes into the whole like the importance of being very intentional about joining communities and knowing what you're looking to get out of it. And communities can be from things that are like services or people that are paid to unpaid. So for
yes,
example, or joining organizations like the one that we're in or entrepreneurs and
yes,
just knowing that you'll find people for different needs of yours. And
yes,
also the free version is going on Reddit. Like it could be the most toxic place in the whole entire world, but it could also have like certain gems. And also it's filled with a lot of people that usually, for example, if you're going to be on the business channel of Reddit, like it's usually filled with people that are inquiring a lot about business and like growing theirs and starting theirs and just marketing, moving, all of that. So what you can learn is actually from the comments or from the experience that the person had, and then taking that in and being like, oh, okay, well, this is a change, or this is how I can apply it for myself, or like this is something that didn't work. Do I feel like it's worth it to also try it, or just like take the word of the person for what it is? And even for example, like speech and joining, ooh, I forgot the name of the place, but like the organization, Toastmasters, there you go. Where it's like so that you can join like and also network with other business people and or entrepreneurs too because you're going to have like a mix of like a lot of that basically. So, yeah, joining communities, being intentional about it, doing your market research, going out on the streets and actually seeing people versus only staying online, pretty important. And I know that you've even done it too when it comes, this one I have not done, but I have it on my list. But like, for example, like vendor events and just being able to
Mhm.
like really
Yeah.
interact with like your potential audiences and knowing what kind of vendor situations you want to get into. But I
No,
would say,
sorry.
no, go
No,
ahead.
you're good. No, like I said, I like that's we're going to go back to this is very important. But it's very important because for joining the different communities, whether they're paid or they're free, and the same things like the ones that she mentioned, they also have Facebook groups too for like certain
Yeah.
different topics and different things about it. And they also do different networking events where you can actually go out to and meet people face to face. They have the same thing like Star mentioned that I've done vendor events. The main thing with no matter either any of these that you're looking for is you have to make sure that you're open and that you're taking the
Yep.
initiative to meet people. I don't
Yep.
whether this is online or in person. If you're not trying to step out and if this is your zone and you're good with it, then make sure you're going out there, making sure you're like sending messages. Hey, can we get on a quick coffee chat? X, Y, and Z. If you're going to events, talk to people. Things matter. If this is not something that you're like fluent in and you're like, I'm not used to necessarily like reaching out, then that's when you're like, okay, let me step outside of my comfort zone a little bit and let me do that. Because if you're joining a lot of communities, if you're joining groups, if you're going to network events and you're not actually meeting people, you're not really serving the purpose and you're actually doing a disservice to not only you but your business, because you could have an amazing brand, no one knows about it. There could be some amazing people at this event that also could help you with your brand. It could also
Right.
help you. And because you're not talking to people, because you're not reaching out to them on the communities, it's so important to not just be present, but engage, because that's what's really going to help you advance. I have met some amazing and some wonderful people
Yeah.
just from going to some of these events that I really didn't 100% have an expectation. I just knew I wanted to meet people to see where people were, X, Y, and Z. And some of these people have been game changers within not only my life, my business, and everything else. So it's so important to really make sure that you're doing it, but you know that you're doing it because you want to advance not only yourself but also your business. And sometimes you also advance other skills at the same time because you're meeting people. Sometimes people can see something in you that you didn't even see yourself. So
Yeah.
it's so important to do that and be intentional with every aspect. Be yourself. Like I always tell people, don't put a face on. Don't be someone you're not. For one, people can tell that. And for two, it really comes off when later on they start seeing something different. And it's not necessarily that it means it's bad. It just means this is different than the person I met at the event. So just be yourself. Like if you're being yourself, you're people who you're meant to be with, the method you're meant to talk to, you guys will connect. That's just how it is. Everyone isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Hmm.
It's just
Hmm.
that the people who's meant that for you to talk to, who's meant to be in your line, in your pathway, you will find.
Yeah, and I do think that there are two things within that. Like one is I would say because like I would say the first time that I networked was what, college maybe. And one of the things that like I thought before about networking is there needs to be an immediate purpose to the person that you're speaking with without understanding. Now, sometimes you can literally just vibe with someone
Yes, yes,
and it's later down. Yeah, like because
yes.
like I feel like during our times, like we were always here, network, network, network. And like no one was explaining networking, but you're like, I'm gonna network.
Everyone
Like
wants you to
collect
network,
business
but you're like,
cards.
okay, well, what is this? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like collect business cards. That's what I know. Make sure that I talk to the person that I need something from. But it's like, no, I've found that a lot of the best relationships are the ones where you're just like, oh,
Hey.
what are you doing here? And just like the
Exactly.
person
Like,
starts talking to.
are you from here? Oh, you
Yeah.
traveled. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you start building, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be a point where that person would be able to help you or you to them,
Yes,
because
100%.
at the end of the day, the first time or first times that you meet someone, you're not always going to have this is how I can, like, I have your
Yes. Oh,
back,
yeah.
but there's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be like some sort of point where you can always
Exactly.
like pay it forward, and it's even better because now you've already established trust and a
Yes.
relationship with that person. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just like, all right, you want something from me? You want to siphon from me? I'll siphon from you, like kind of
Exactly. And it's
and
all about building that community too. It's about
yeah,
building the community. A
and
lot of the
that's what that
people
is.
that
Yeah.
we've met at multiple things, the community that's being built, it then you get to meet other people.
Mhm.
And you already know if you connected, if you vibed with someone already, 9 times out of 10, the other people that's going to be in their community are going to give the same energy. So you're
Yes.
going to know
Yes.
that they all are going to be intentional. And before you realize it, you almost are building something, and you're building without even thinking about it because
It's
you took
organic.
that first step and it's
Mhm.
organic.
Can you imagine like the people that we were networking being so serious? Like I feel like we would die.
Oh
Like
my
it's just
gosh.
like
Oh,
this is
it would never, it would be like if there's no personality, I'm just like,
oh
okay.
yeah.
Well, it was great. It was a pleasure.
Like not even. It's just like bye. Like I can't even do that. But like I would also say too, and especially for those who are ambiverted or introverted, I feel like one of the most important things is setting a mental timer for how long you're going to be inside of the place. Like it's like, oh, you want to know who actually does it best? My husband. Like literally we will go to an event and like a lot of the times he does a lot of like speaking things and all of that whatever, and so like he'll literally have it in mind like we're here for an hour, and as soon as the time is up, he's
You're
like,
like,
all
yep.
right.
He's like, well, we're just gonna slowly back up. Okay, it was nice seeing you. Bye.
I still remember one time we were like talking to someone, and you could just see it from his face where he was just like, I'm so done. Like, and I was like, now
You're
that's
like,
when I was like, it was nice meeting you. Let's
yes.
exchange numbers. Like,
And now I think it's time to go.
yeah, because it's like I don't know where we're gonna go from here. Like,
Exactly. You're like, yeah, I don't think anything else is happening. So
yeah,
yep.
he's just going to be there and that's it. But I would say that for me, the last thing that I would definitely believe in is I read the book, but also just the concept of the dip, which is continue working on your business, even in the times where you think that it's not going to work out. Like, I mean, of course, there's a point of like, for real, you need to stop, but it's always going to be a very hard journey. If it's easy in the beginning, just understand that you're going to fail very fast and you're not going to know what to do about it.
Yeah.
But if it takes time, I really akin this kind of to like that thought of just hiking, where like, especially because those of you who hike, you know this very well, especially if you're going on like very mountainous terrain, like where you start going and you like at one point you're just like, I could just go back down right now. And mind you, like it only took you maybe like 5 more minutes of a walk, and there you are at the peak. Yeah, and then by the time you get to the peak, you feel like, oh my God, this is worth it. Like you feel so proud of yourself because you did something that not a lot of people can.
Yeah.
And especially you have to think about too the fact that if you're feeling like giving up now, there are other people who are at the same level as you who really
Mhm.
gave up and are not even going to try and continue. So
Yes.
I really feel like that is important to keep in mind. It's not going to be
Yes.
all rainbows and unicorns.
Hmm.
Like it's going to get very hard. You're
Yes.
going to feel drained. You're going to feel like, is this even worth it? But if this is your passion, and
Yeah.
that's also why I feel like it's very important to love what you do in a lot of
Ooh,
ways, or actually want
yes.
to really solve this like issue that you're trying to solve as your business, it's because you're going to need to lean on that along with, like your community and the people around you, your family, friends, and things like that. But like to keep going because,
Yeah.
yeah, some days you're just going to
Exactly.
really be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And
No, and like I said, and that's important. And there's two things before we conclude. I definitely, you're going to have those days for it, hands down. And even when you feel like it's failing, that's also the one of the most important times to lead on your support system, lead on your
yes.
community, because sometimes it may not be that it's failing. It just may be that you may have to shift it a little bit, or you
Mm,
may have to do something a little bit differently, and things either were so easy before or things came so naturally and something happens, and that's life, as
mm.
life always life. So
And slash or sometimes it's just not the right time, but at least you're building out the foundation because there
yes.
are a lot more businesses that actually flourish a good minute after their start versus
Mhm.
like instantly, and it's
Exactly,
kind of like
yeah.
for example, what are we using? Zoom. Like, remember
Mhm.
how like it was here, but like it really like post pandemic, like they
Mhm.
really decided to take on
Yes.
like a lot of like the
And they
people from
upgraded
Skype.
so much of it
Yeah.
because of how much people lean on it. And it goes the
Yeah.
other way too. Sometimes in the start of it, it's easy. Like you got the orders, you got the customers, you got the things were coming in easy, and all of a sudden you get a dip. And you're like, oh my God,
Yes.
what's
Oh,
happening?
and
X, Y,
that,
and that, and be honest with, that's business. It's
yes.
natural. But it also takes me to my second point, which is just like what Star said. It's so important to have passion. It's so important to want to make an impact on whatever you're doing, because that is what's going to keep you through those hard
Oh,
times. You have to
very
love
much.
what you're doing. You have to have passion. You have to, or you have to know that whatever you're doing, it's meant for your purpose and you're
Mhm.
making an impact. And that's what you're leaning on through it. Because honestly, if you're doing something just for the ideal of doing it or making money, or it's not something you love, not something you like, nothing at all, I'm be honest with you, it's going to fail real quick. It's not going to
Mhm.
fail in terms of business wise. It's going to be mental wise, because once you start getting
Mhm.
overwhelmed, once you start getting very, you're just, and on top of that, it's also going to get you in not a good headspace, because you're not going to be happy about what you're doing, but it's going to be, it's this work. Let's be real honest. It's work. It's a work 100% of the time. And if you love what you're doing, it's still going to be work, but you know that you're making a difference at the end of the day.
Yep. And also, you never like, I feel like every business has an audience somewhere. It's just a matter of just
Yes.
like also like finding where that place is. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if
Yes.
like you're searching on online and you're going through Facebook, that might not be the avenue. Maybe it is
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, or maybe it's taking the business idea outside of being online and
Yeah.
going out like into the real world, your audience too.
Yeah, and it's also, like I said, just like what Star said. It's also the platform too, because also like some businesses, like in, I feel like people have started to use it a little bit more, but not nearly as much as LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very, very good platform for a lot of business, depending on what you're specializing in. So it's like one of those things where you may be putting all your time in a particular platform or a particular thing that's not really meant. Like, it's good for visibility, but it's not where your people are. It's not where your audience is. And once you find where your audience is, then you put your time into that, because that's what's going to make the most difference for you.
And I feel too that encompassing everything that we've been saying, one of the main reasons why you'll hear so many entrepreneurs and so many like, creators just saying the time to start is just now is really because of the fact that it's like, just do something, like just take a lot of like the gems that we gave you today so that you can apply it, but like just know that like it's really important to just make a move and then work from there. Just try
Mm-hmm.
not to make it as strenuous as possible and
Yeah.
try not to let it overwhelm you, because it's going to, like,
Yeah.
at a lot of points like in the midst.
Exactly. And okay, just kidding. One more last thing. No, but what you said, like that right there is 100% accurate in all aspects, and I say
It's
that
a
because of
hundred,
the
nah.
100,
I'm
a
just kidding.
hundred. We got it there.
Nah.
No, but it really is because, and I say that because of the fact of, you have to keep in mind too that it's, no matter what you do, it's going to be a process. It's going to be work, but you have to know that leaning on, try not to do it all by yourself. Leaning on your support, leaning on your community, it's really what's going to get it there. You're going to have those low days. You're going to have, but if you have a community that you know that, okay, this is normal per se, in terms of like, okay, everyone goes through it. Because a lot of times when you're doing it on your own, you feel like, oh, it must be me. It must be me.
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
only one going through it. Then you talk to people,
yeah,
they're like, oh no, that's like me on like a Monday, Wednesday, and like a
yeah.
Saturday. So it's like one of those things that just do it for your own peace of mind. Just don't try to do it on your all on your own. Find your tribe, find your support, find your community, because that's going to be game changer in helping you through those times and helping you to get those roadblocks. And sometimes you just need to talk it out, because sometimes once you
Mhm.
talk it out, you're like, oh, actually, it's not
Yeah,
as bad as not as
yeah,
bad as I thought it was.
yeah.
So those are just so like really good things. But definitely, if you take anything away, just take away from the fact that listen to how you feel, listen to what you want to do, and take action. And just like she said, the reason why everyone says start now, because if you have the same idea now that you have in December, the only thing that's changed is the time. The only thing
Hmm.
that changed is 6 more months past for something that you could have already been pretty started and established in, to do the same thing you could have done now, and you're doing it then. So why not?
Exactly. Why not?
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, as we know, hindsight is 2020, but hopefully we helped all of those of you who already have a business established go down memory lane a little bit, or help those who are starting or wanting to start a new business to get some tips on how to get started. So Per usual, if this conversation gave you some direction as to where to keep moving, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tap the bell so you never miss a moment of radical confidence and real talk. So while you're here, let's actually add in to drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know which topics or founders you'd want to see featured next on Authentic Ambitions, because this is why we created this, to take off the mask and just give it to you real and raw. So until next time, keep building, keep growing, and stay inspired. Bye.
Bye.